I come from the world of stock markets, financial markets. So I'll try and give you opinions from that lens. I think India largely has 4 problems today. The very first one is our trade deficit. For a country as large with such cheap labor available, I do not think we should be running a trade deficit of about $20 billion a month. We import more than we should and we export less than we should. If we were to consider the total reserves in the RBI at about 600 billion, we will quickly run out of that reserve at the run rate of 20 billion that we are moving at right now. And I think this is a cardinal issue that we need to work towards solving before it becomes a problem that we can't control. The second big issue before us today, I would say, is inflation. Traditionally, when inflation has gone up, the only remedy that we have that we can control has been to move interest rates to a point above inflation, to bring it somewhat, somewhat to a point where people can continue to afford higher things the next year than they did the previous year. So if we were to assume inflation today is at 8%, to move interest rates up to 10% will have significant impact on corporate margins, significant impact on how industry at large is, and I think that's the second big issue that India is facing today. The third thing I would say is unemployment. We are at about 8-9% unemployment. I don't know who caught the news, but the last month we had probably the highest unemployment we have seen in 3 or 4 years. Producing skilled jobs is something we have not done efficiently for a long time now, and it would not be unfair to say that, we could go on and harp about how well Indians are doing abroad, but the form of education, India's form of pedagogy, is not providing really competent people who can compete on a global scale today. The fourth job, like my co-panelist adhered to, the fourth big issue, I think, is demographics are becoming a big problem. India is a young country today, but we are aging very quickly. And if our fertility rates are anything to go by, outside of UP and Bihar, we will probably see populations age in most states in India within the next 25 or 30 years. To solve a problem, I think it is extremely important to understand the problem and acknowledge the problem. We have, as a country, a GDP per capita which is 1/5 of what our neighbor China has, which arguably has more people than us. And we have 3% of our country which pays income tax. We have many issues in many social causes are really big issues which I do not want to go into. The reason I'm talking about this is I think India, from a global perspective, to become competitive has to change a lot. Starting from the very bottom, I think the education system has to change significantly. Inclusion has to be more. A whole lot of things have to be changed. But my only critique would be is, whenever we talk about India, we are probably sugarcoating a problem that truly exists, and to recognize the problem and to work on the problem on the ground is maybe what might be required. Yeah, that's it from me.